Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Monday night, the 19th, the 19th of July, on what is, for the most part, a relatively uneventful day across the U.S. weather-wise, and it gets like that sometimes. The Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, on Long Island, 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. Hardware, uh, the stuff you use to build with, not computer hardware. Hardware, mulch, topsoil, and, of course, good idea to maybe check to make sure you got supplies handy in case we get another tropical storm or a hurricane. They have it all there at Omni, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. And then, of course, there's Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, because as each day goes by, it gets closer and closer to holiday time, and you might want your home decorated, or you might want to do this as a business come this late fall to make a little extra money. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, also on Long Island, and their phone number is 631-957-5106, and the website is liholidaylighting.com. I'm just hearing now some rain pounding on my roof. Rained all last night, then it kind of stopped this morning. Joe, another day, not out of the 70s today, but it was cloudy most of the day. I was driving. It's funny because I live, I literally live in a mountain, so it kind of reminds me a little bit about like the Catskills in the summertime, where you get showers, pinned against the mountains. It happens here, and you drive, when you drive down the mountain and you head into town, most of the time it's not raining there. So it seems to be rather localized where I am at the moment. I'm very slowly but surely learning the local climatology of this area.
The little quirks that come with living at 2,300 feet above sea level in Georgia.
Yeah, definitely. Bill Russo hit an early super chat hit. Did it before the show started. Thank you. I'm sorry, Robert Russo. Bill Russo, I went to high school with. Robert Russo hitting super chat tonight. Thank you so much, Robert. Most appreciated as always. So it looks like a humidity break is coming for Thursday and Friday of this week for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic states.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the fact that the upper level winds were going to be coming out of a northwesterly direction, especially later in the week. But we also said that because weather systems are moving so rapidly across the country, that we really didn't have a chance, it didn't appear that we would have a chance to settle into a long-term stretch of lower humidity levels or lower dew points. But it looks like now that Thursday and Friday may indeed turn out to be relatively dry and also relatively more comfortable compared to what we've been dealing with over these past few days, and that's going to be a nice break, Joe.
Yeah, I actually in anticipation of this, I have the dew points set up on the GFS, and you'll see how very nicely this big area of 40s. Now remember, we've got several weak fronts that are there's another one up to our northwest that's going to approach tomorrow. But the real push here is going to be Wednesday night and Thursday. So until then, we're dealing with dew points that are mostly in the middle 60s as we go through Tuesday and into Wednesday. And then watch that big area up in eastern Canada. That's dew points in the 40s and low 50s comes rushing down into all the way down into Virginia. They got dew points down in the upper 50s by Thursday morning, down in southern Virginia and on the North Carolina state line, and mostly 40s and low 50 dew points from New England on southward for Thursday. Thursday afternoon, Joe, there's a 52 dew point in whatever that little point is that looks like it's in Orange County there. A 50 dew point for Bridgeport, a 40, what is that, a 40, 49 or a 48 dew point along the New Jersey shore, and a 47 dew point down in southwestern New Jersey. That's Thursday afternoon. and you got 40s dew points all the way down into Western Virginia. My dew points, well, it doesn't go far enough. I'm barely. I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to get into that air this time around. And then on Friday, we're going to start out with low dew points in the upper 40s and low 50s in the morning, but we're still going to hold on to them for most of the day. They start to come up a little bit, but not much. I mean, this is really looks like the 2 days, Thursday and Friday, should be good. And then you'll see the dew points come up some, particularly as we get into Sunday. We start to get dew points back up into the middle and upper 60s because, of course, you have a wedding on Sunday, so we couldn't have it the way it was, Joe, back a few days ago that had low dew points everywhere and high pressure building in from the west. Instead, we've got a cold front approaching, and we'll have to wait for that to go by to see what comes behind it as far as dew point relief. And there actually is some, but that's not until maybe next Tuesday. So things have the timing of these weather systems in the northwest flow seems to have changed just a little bit, unfortunately.
Right. Well, the upper flow is coming on Thursday and Friday from Hudson and James Bay, so you can't ask for much better than that in the normally steamy and oppressive month of July. And once we get into the weekend, the overall pattern is going to be flattening out. In other words, we're not going to be getting that sharp flow from the northwest. Kind of a ridge of high pressure will be building in over us for Saturday. And then, yes, Joe, unfortunately for my son and my daughter-in-law, who will be re-celebrating their wedding.
Right.
They were officially married last year in July, but now they'll be able to have it at the church, and we'll have a catering hall all set up in the afternoon. But unfortunately, with that cold front, it looks like we may have to deal with some wet weather. But as the brides normally would say, when you have that kind of weather on your wedding day, showers of happiness, or something like that.
Something along those lines.
Try to take the sting out of that, having wet weather on your wedding day.
Yes. Around the country today, the action is across the southeast and the Gulf states. You can see there's a lot of clouds and tropical moisture there in the northeast. Of course, we had this low that's just offshore, and the cold front's just offshore, and the low is in southeastern New England now, and starting to slowly pull away to the northeast. Kind of kept the area in and out. I sort of this morning, I resolved it forecast-wise, but just calling it cloudy to partly sunny, because you were going to see these varying conditions going on during the day. But as far as showers are concerned, you can see some blow-ups there up to the north, but they're wide and northwest. They're widely scattered. Looks like a little cluster of thunderstorms in central PA, which we'll look at in a moment. But the heavier storms and the more numerous storms are across the Gulf states, and we are seeing some areas that are going to be experiencing some local flash flooding here, but again, nothing major. And also the southwest. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe.
I don't. If you think that you're posting maps, you're not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just see the two of us.
Whoops! I forgot to switch. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Now we got the maps.
You need a switcher. That's what we need.
Well, I need a director to yell, switch the camera, or a producer. By the way, you notice how milky the area from the northeast, where it looks like it should be clear, very milky looking view here on the satellite. Is that wildfire stuff that we're getting here? I saw somebody mention that.
I wish I still had the map. There was a map that I used to look at that shows smoke from such things as wildfire, but that's not that's out of commission now. It's not available. So
well, I mean,
I don't know.
There is what looks like I'm just following the flow. So if you look up in Montana and the Dakotas, you can see these milky white clouds are kind of moving to the southeast. In the meantime, well, it's kind of a mix. As you've got, the milky white is probably the smoke. There's also some cirrus in there in the mix too. So it probably makes for an interesting sky and maybe interesting sunsets as long as that's there. Meanwhile, by the way, moisture continues to pour into the southwest, and from there northward up into the Northern Rockies. The radars out there are rather busy. First in the northeast, We've got some scattered showers and one or two thunderstorms. You can see there were two severe thunderstorm warnings up in central PA just a short time ago, but those warnings have expired as it looks like those areas are now weakening. I don't know if did you get a shower today or no?
No, we just had clouds which gradually gave way to developing sunshine. And at the last look, it was kind of hazy, but we also had some sunshine out there. So it turned out to be a. And I even said to my wife, to Renata, I said,
this morning around 8:45.
Well, you heard it.
Was that
The executive producer?
Was that on
the executive producer said? The executive producer said it did rain at 8:45 this morning.
Oh,
I was dead to the world at 8:45. So
I see. I see. She did say that on the Macy's intercom, correct?
Yes, she did.
Okay, good. We haven't heard the Macy's intercom in a while. There are your showers and storms. A lot of storms tonight, Joe, all lined up right along the North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia coast. They're kind of hugging the coast there. Don't see any severe weather warnings up. A little bit further to the west as you get into Georgia, as I was said to start to show that line that's in northeast Georgia just went by me, so I don't hear the rain hitting the roof anymore. But there's more coming to the southwest and extending across northern Alabama. A little bit of a break, and then you go right along the immediate coast across the Florida Panhandle back to in and around Mobile, southeastern Mississippi, southeastern Louisiana. Also seeing showers and storms across much of southern Louisiana, as well as central Louisiana, back over into Texas, and then also northern Mississippi into parts of Tennessee. This is more new. I mean, these are not just your typical scattered summertime afternoon thunderstorms. This is a little bit more. These are much more numerous. We don't have any, any tropical system here. It's just there's a ton of tropical moisture. You got little ripples in the upper atmosphere that are sort of moving along. And meanwhile, out in the southwest, in Arizona, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flash flood warnings for 6 different counties in Arizona and Nevada. And also seeing some heavy showers and storms up in northern Nevada and moving northward through scattered around through Utah and a bit more numerous in Idaho and back over into Montana. So they're going from heat wave to some much needed rain. So that's a plus.
It is. It is. I was thinking the other day, though, about how dry parts of the West have been and are as compared to what's going on in Europe with all of those incredible floods and people being lost because of the fact that there's just too much water out there. It's too much of something and not enough of the other in other parts of the world.
Yep.
I found, Joe, by the way, the a smoke map. So if you allow for,
I will most assuredly allow you to share. So go ahead and share.
I'm a little confused though at what this is exactly showing, but I'll bring it up on the screen now. Maybe you could figure it out. I mean, you can see there are
I see yellow dots, I see green dots, I see orange dots. They look like M&Ms.
I'm assuming that maybe, there you see over here, as I zoom in, this is where they have a lot of fire activity that's going on out over the high plains.
Well, there's a legend of color on the lower left, and they don't tell you what the legend means.
It's called AQI legend.
What does that mean?
Oh, wait a minute. Air quality index.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, so this is air quality.
Oh, all right. Well, that helps.
So good, moderate, unhealthy, very unhealthy. You're going to die.
Right.
All right. So that's basically what they have.
Don't breathe.
Is the air quality index.
So yeah, it is.
Now,
it is definitely elevated up in the northwest. So that must be where the smoke is coming from. And also look at Canada too.
And look at this. I presume this is the smoke. This zone here of gray, of varying lanes of gray. Here's more gray here, and it looks like that gray is just getting ready to move. If it's moving on a west to east course, it looks like it's just getting ready to move over the immediate New York City area. the clearest part of the Northeast right now is right along the immediate southern New England to down east Maine coastline, and even there it's probably a little smoky. But the main batch is back here over the Great Lakes, western and central New York, western and central Pennsylvania, and the green. Well, that means that in spite of the smoke, the air quality is good. So enjoy, breathe in.
WPC for rainfall over the next 7 days has about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. And by the way, New York City's rainfall is for July is now number 4, and we need to get about 2.5 inches of rain between now and the end of the month to make it the wettest July on record. So there's plenty of time. Today's being the 19th. So you've got 12, 1, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29. You got 12 days to squeeze in 2 inches of rain. And WPC has 1/4 to 1/2 for the next 7, with heavier rains up in upstate New York and northern New England. Also across the Gulf states, some pockets of, it looks like they got a pocket of 3 inches plus over me. That's nice. I'd like to see some sun. We haven't had much sun around here. Covering that rain extends all across the Gulf states. And you see that rain up in the southwest as well, with that very large area of several to many inches across the middle part of Arizona, and even touching into western New Mexico and southwestern Colorado. So a bit busy rain-wise, and of course it's dry on either side of that. And here's our surface map. There's the weather system that's just offshore. You got a low off the Maine coast. There's another one of these weak cold fronts that's dropping southeastward from eastern Canada. That will probably make an approach here later tomorrow. I don't know how much thunderstorm activity we're going to see this week. Oh, maps.
Mrs. Rayo.
I know. I'm one step behind tonight. I'm sorry. I forgot to switch back.
We know we can't see the map. Stop it.
All right, hold on.
Good Lord.
So there's WPC. My fault, folks. Joe, I got up at 1:30 this morning. I could not sleep, so I've been up since 1:30 a.m. I drank 2 pots of coffee,
I can imagine.
and you know I'm a step behind tonight. So those of you watching, forgive me. I will try to be more attentive here. There's your WPC map in terms of the rainfall, which I've so brilliantly described that you could visualize what I said, that you really didn't even need to see the map. But there is the map. And here's your surface map with this stationary boundary offshore. You've got a front that's coming down through southeastern Canada, and looks to be on the weak side. And we've got this stalled frontal boundary across the northern Gulf states, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing as far as showers and storms are concerned. So it's kind of, you look at this map, Joe, it kind of looks like what you might normally see in a typical mid-July weather scenario.
Yes, indeed. And one of our people on the chat board, Chuck Cardillo, says that you could smell the smoke from where he is. It's very smoky.
Really?
On the top of this hill. That's what he says.
Well, then we need to get that air mass to come down from eastern Canada and clean house around here. And that's going to happen. So I want to just kind of run real quick. If you watch this GFS loop that I've got that goes out for the next 16 days, and this was the 12Z run, but a lot of times I like to run it at a high speed, so you actually get a flavor for how what's going on in the upper atmosphere. And when you do that, you'll notice that everything is coming down from the northwest. There's a northwest flow in the upper atmosphere that ebbs and flows in terms of strength, but there's enough of it that when we run it through the next 16 days, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 weak fronts, well, a couple of weak fronts and then a couple of stronger ones that move on through. So the good news with that, if you want to look at it in this fashion, is if this pattern holds into August, as we get deeper and deeper into the month of August, if we're still dealing with a northwest flow and getting cold fronts coming down, we're going to see some nice, delightful air move into the northeast and mid-Atlantic states and lower those dew points for maybe a few days at a time, depending on how strong the northwest flow is. It also might mean that it could be drier overall because there might not be a whole lot of tropical moisture that gets involved.
That would be nice. And let me also point something out that on Wednesday we will arrive on the 21st of July. And as far as we are concerned here in the northern hemisphere, at least in mid-northern latitudes, May 21st through July 21st, the sun really does not change all that much in terms of its midday sky position. It's way up there. Of course, it reaches its highest point in the sky on the first day of summer, June 20th, June 21st. But for about a month on either side of that, the sun really does not change in terms of its altitude or in terms of its path across the sky. And we have early sunrises, we have late sunsets. But now, when we get past this coming Wednesday, you're going to start to notice it's going to become more and more evident after this Wednesday that the days indeed are starting to get shorter. The sun is going to start dropping. It's going to be more perceptive that it's going to be dropping lower at midday. The sunrises are going to be coming later. The sunset's coming earlier. And you're really going to start to notice that things are trending toward shorter days and longer nights. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Joe, but deciduous trees, like maple trees, for example, they actually begin shutting down because of the change in the amount of daylight in mid-August. Now, the whole procedure takes about 6 to 8 weeks from the time that the leaves begin to sense a change in the length of time, the length of sunlight, to the time when they actually start dropping, changing color and start to drop. So, and conversely, they start to awaken with the increasing sunlight and increasing sunshine in mid-February, but it takes about 6 to 8 weeks after that for us to start seeing the first budding leaves and everything. So for all of you who are in your element right now, enjoying the warm temperatures and the early sunrises and the late sunsets and everything, it's going bye-bye very soon. It's going to start, you're going to start by mid-August, Joe. You're going to start noticing, you can step outside, let's say at 8:15, 8:20, you say, hey, it's getting dark all of a sudden. What happened here? And that's going to be because, again, we're going to start noticing a more rapid change toward the length of days, the shortening of the days. So it all begins really in just a couple of days on the 21st of July. Once we get past the 21st of July, you watch how quickly or how much more radically the days, the length of days will be occurring. Ah, yes. Who's calling now? Ah, it's my son. I'm just going to turn the speaker off there so we don't hear from him.
You know who's giving you looks about this right now?
Who?
Where are the birds going to go, Joe? Poor Mrs. Bundy's upset here. Anyway, we'll get rid of Mrs. Bundy. And we should also mention the fact that the oak trees are usually the last to bloom in the springtime, and they're also the last ones to let their leaves go.
Right. So things are changing out there already.
Well,
Chuck Cardillo says, I cannot wait till that happens, Joe Rayo. I'm sure you can't, Chuck.
Well, let's see what happens if we hold this pattern into September. It's going to be a much different type of September than what we've been used to over the last number of years, where it seems like we get an extension of summer into at least the first part of September, and in some cases through the whole month. It's been the last couple of years. It's been a little more variable. Unlike if you go back, a little bit further into the 20-teens, you have a number of Septembers where it was just, what seemed like endless summer going through the month of September and into the month of October. So maybe this time, the last couple of Septembers have been a little bit different. So maybe it'll be, if that trough holds in the east, it will definitely be different. So here's your surface map for Wednesday. Doesn't look like the models are really doing very much of anything. SPC has no severe weather risks to speak of in anywhere in the country for tomorrow and for Wednesday, and kind of makes sense. I thought, maybe one of these upper troughs from the north would come down, but it doesn't look like we have all the dynamics for any kind of widespread thunderstorm development. Of course, behind the push on Wednesday, tomorrow's going to be let's skip through tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the hottest day of the week, and the northeastern mid-Atlantic states will be up in the low and mid 90s with high humidity. I threw in the chance that there could be a pop-up shower or storm tomorrow in the afternoon or evening. You see the GFS kind of has a few up in northern PA and in upstate New York. And then the front comes through on Wednesday, maybe another shower or storm scattered around late Wednesday afternoon or evening. And then here comes the dry high. It's over Ohio by Thursday morning, and it's kind of right overhead on Friday and moving offshore by the time we get to Saturday. And then here comes the next front for Sunday. Yes, Joe, it's got showers through the middle of. Actually, if you look at this with a little help, this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If it's an hour or two faster, you could see improving weather conditions later in the afternoon and evening. On the other hand, if it's slower, then you could wind up with late day showers and storms. And most times it winds up being slower. And then it looks like another weak trough in front Monday night and Tuesday with some dry air behind it. Here comes the next one for later next week with dry air behind it, and so on and so on and so on.
And so on.
Yes.
And so forth.
Yes. So I'm just going to load up an upper air view here, if I can, if it will let me. And while it's doing that, while these maps are attempting to load, I'm just going to jump over to NHC. So for those of you who are wondering what's happened to Felicia, it went from a strong Category 4 hurricane early yesterday to now a tropical storm. It's weakened. It's moving west-southwest. They're carrying west at 14, but it's actually going to start moving more southwest with time. 16.1 north, 133.4 west, or in the middle of nowhere, and heading west and then west-southwest. This is going to be long gone off the maps before it ever comes anywhere close to Hawaii. And I mean, it isn't even going to come close to Hawaii.
No, it's going to be passing well off. As we said yesterday, passing perhaps close enough to generate swells, but that's about all. No major impact.
No.
Otherwise. If you know anyone who's planning to go to Hawaii, by the way, my son and daughter-in-law were supposed to go on a cruise around the Hawaiian Islands. That ain't coming off.
Right.
But they will be going to Hawaii at the end of the month for their honeymoon. I'm hopefully they won't run into any major problems. It doesn't look like they're going to have any major problems because, as we just seen here, from a Category 4 storm, this tropical cyclone is just going to shrivel up literally right before our eyes.
And to the east of that is what was Tropical Storm Guillermo, which is now back to it briefly became a tropical storm. Now it's back to a tropical depression. And that's what is forecast to weaken as it moves generally west or west-southwest. And that's at 19.3 north, 119.8 west, or east of the middle of nowhere in the eastern Pacific. So these storms in the Pacific are not really showing any longevity, and so far only getting up to the G storm through the middle of July for the Pacific is a sign that the season out there is subpar, which is a sign of the La Nina that's going on. And this is another check in the box that says that the Atlantic is going to rev up and possibly in a big way as we go into August and September. But it's not going to do it in the next 5 days, folks. There's really nothing out there. Just got weak tropical waves and one off the African coast. Most of the Atlantic actually is quite dry right now. If you look at the still shot here on the satellite, there's hardly anything going on. Not unusual for the 19th of July, but come August, I'm sure we're going to see activity start to pick up. And let's go back to that upper air so we could sort of take a look and see where we're going in the long range. And I actually have it started out already at day 8. And here's day 7. because we kind of know where it's going to be, for the next 7 days. So here's another trough early next week, running down along 80 degrees west. The base of the westerlies down into North Carolina. That trough lifts out. You got a flat ridge in the southwest, and that migrates a little bit to the east over Kansas and Oklahoma. You still have tendency for troughing in the eastern part of the United States, running through the end of the month and beginning of August. I mentioned this yesterday when some of the long-range guidance back a week or so ago was trying to show some kind of heat wave building into the eastern part of the United States. It doesn't look like, to me, that, I mean, you'll get these days like tomorrow where it'll go up into the 90s, but those are going to be the exception and not the rule if this pattern holds like this.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, Joe, at the Climate Prediction Center for 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 days, and in our neck of the woods, in our section of the country,
Can you put the
they
map
have
up?
near normal for. Yeah, I could do that. Let me just and that here and shave here and put this over here and there, and yeah. So for 6 to 10 days, if we do precipitation-wise, 6 to 10 days, they have the northeastern United States with near normal across New York State and most of central and southern New England. The rest of the eastern United States, including your area, Joe, probability of below normal precipitation.
Right. So
And
this
then
is
as we
this
get
is
into,
valid July 25th through the 29th, by the way.
right, and then we go to the 8 to 14 day prog, and now, whereas up here they had above normal precipitation probabilities, now it's back to normal, and now most of the eastern United States, all the way down to Florida, showing near or below normal precipitation. This is for the 27th of July to the 2nd of August.
Nice to
So
see.
it looks like we may be.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish
Yeah,
your thought.
yeah. No, I was just going to say. I was going to say it's nice to see that we're going to be seeing a stretch of below normal precipitation according to the CPC for not just the eastern United States, but for a good part of the eastern and central part of the nation. The only above normal would be here.
I was just going to say,
Nevada.
it's good to see the above normal there because that's part of that's
Yeah,
in that drought area.
right. So maybe things are going to flip-flop a little bit over the next couple of weeks, but I could do for a couple of weeks of below normal precipitation, especially after all the rain that we have seen so far this month of July. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, interestingly, temperature-wise, near normal from the 25th to the 29th of April in much of the Northeast. But then as we get into the 8 to 14 day prog, we're beginning to see milder or warmer than normal conditions slowly filter their way into New York State, near normal conditions temperature-wise across central and northern New England. And the heat apparently is building over the high plains, again,
Right.
Montana and the Dakotas. So there you go.
Pull up the one of the options on there, Joe, is the global tropical hazards. I'd be curious to see what they got on that. You see that global tropical hazards weeks 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all right. So there you go. So
This
this is July 14th to the 20th. So I guess the light green, what is that, a yellowish area, below average rainfall. The red is
I
above
made it a
average
little bit.
rainfall, so we're not seeing. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice view. So actually, that's below average rainfall in the yellow. So we need to go see Indonesia. So the red would be above. So that kind of explains the tropical activity that's going on in the Pacific this week. And what's the next time period? Is the 21st to the 27th is on the next map.
Right.
Okay, so let's check out what the green zebra means on the legend. What does the green zebra mean on the legend?
that it right there?
Yeah, no, there's the
Above
green
weekly.
weekly total rainfall in the upper third of historical stuff. Okay, so and then if we got a regular zebra color there, the red and white, that means development potential for tropical depressions or a tropical cyclone of some fashion. So if we look at the Atlantic on this for next week, they do have. Now I forgot what did we say the green zebra was on the legend again? We don't have any tropical storm cyclone formation. We do have it out in the West Pacific. Oh, the green zebra is
weekly
total
rainfall
rainfall. Okay, we don't care about
of the
that.
upper third of the historical range. So there you go.
Okay.
So
Well,
there you
that's
are.
pretty cool to see. By the way, where is that from? I just saw the Australia. Is that from the weather folks in Australia? Yeah, go down. Yeah, lower. Lower. Now go. Yeah, keep going.
Socially, I'm lower.
Well, of
That's
course.
it. As far
No,
as I
yeah,
can
it's
go.
the Australian
Australian government.
Bureau of Meteorology. But thank you for providing this.
Yeah.
At the University at Albany, at the State University. Oh no, that they got they just have a banner there. It looks like this is put up out by the SUNY Albany's on this. So this is a CPC product. Oh, okay. Look at all that representation that they have. University of Maryland, University of Albany, the Australian government, CICS, NPS, and I can't read the last one with the tropical storm symbol.
It's too red. I
Oh,
can't read it either, and that's
okay.
pretty large.
Well,
actually,
this just goes to what I've said many times as far as the amount of weather information that our weather service here in the U.S. Provides. Really just overwhelms what you find when you go look at weather that's being provided by weather services in other nations. Weather Service does such a great job. They've got so much great information and tools, and it's all free, which is even better.
this is the excessive heat. Slight chance in this zone here from the 27th to the 30th of July. And this would be a moderate chance right here covering the Dakotas and parts of, so a better chance of it getting really hot here over parts of Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and the Dakotas and northeastern Montana for that 27th, the period from the 27th through the 28th. And in anything else in terms of unusual conditions, precipitation, no.
Nope.
Snow, obviously not.
Not.
And wind, obviously not. But the only thing to talk about, really, get concerned about maybe is excessive heat, and that's just for a few days, and that would be again toward the end of the month out here in the Plain States.
And now let's do a little Briller Jeopardy and wrap up the show. This one should be fun, Joe. How old are you? Is the theme of tonight's Briller Jeopardy, or how old are they now? So you have a window of 4 years of credit in order to get credit. 4 years is your window to get credit for a correct answer. So let us begin. Are you ready?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing so well on this, but I'll try my best.
Okay. The first one is June Lockhart.
Oh, God, June Lockhart. I know she has to be in her 90s. She has to be in her 90s. I will say 93.
You get credit because you needed to be within 496. Is Miss Lockhart.
God.
Betty White.
Betty White's 99.
99 is correct.
We're waiting for the 100.
Yes, Clint Eastwood.
Oh God, Clint Eastwood. God, I'm stuck. I'll say 101.
No. You're off. You're off on that one. 91.
91. Okay.
Glenn Close.
Oh God, Glenn Close. Well, she was. Back in like the mid or late 80s. I think she was probably around 50. I'll say 87.
74.
Not
74.
as old as I
And
thought.
Glenn Close, by the way, holds the Oscar Wooden Spoon Award for being most nominated without a win. She has 8 nominations without a win. Deborah Kerr, who I have always loved her. Deborah Kerr had 6 Best Actress Oscar nominations without a win, and she holds the wooden spoon for that department. And you have Thelma Ritter with 6 Supporting Actress nominations without a win in that department. So those are the wooden spoon holders on the women's side. I don't know who I would guess Peter O'Toole is the wooden spoon holder on the men's side, because I think he has had like 8 or 9 nominations without a win. Okay, the next one is Marlo Thomas.
Oh God, Marlo Thomas definitely is in her 80s. I'll say 80. I'll say 82.
Very close, 83. The next one is Ginger from Gilligan's Island, Tina Louise. Yes.
Oh God.
Forever
Well,
forever 25.
Let's see. When Gilligan's Island, let's see. Take a guess, Joe. When Gilligan's Island was on and made its debut, she was probably in her late 20s.
Okay.
I would say late 20s. So it's 2021 now. 1965. 28 is. I'll say 84.
Close, and within the margin of error, 87.
Mm-hmm.
Next is
Because I knew she was. She had to be several years older than Marianne, and Marianne sadly passed away at like 80, 81.
Yeah.
So.
And I used to see her from time to time when I worked at Pix. So she was on her way from where she lived on the east side to Broadway, where she was doing where she does did various plays. Bill Mummy.
Bill Mummy or Bill Mummy?
Or Mummy.
Mummy. All right. Well, he was in 1960 when he began appearing on The Twilight Zone. He had to be only around 5 years old, and so now I will say Bill Mummy. I wonder if Bill Mummy is a little older than I am. I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna say Bill Mummy is 67.
And you know what? He's 67.
Wow.
Sally Struthers.
Well, Sally Struthers, again, 1971, then 50, 72.
Very good, Joe. 73.
Okay.
William Shatner.
Oh, God, William Shatner. William Shatner must be like pushing 90 by now, I think.
And he
I'll say 80. I'll say he's 88.
He's 90.
He is 90.
He is 90.
Well, still, so he's pushed 90. He's reached 90 and he's pushed 90.
Yes. And the last one is Donald Sutherland,
who just had a birthday, I think. I'm thinking back to when he appeared on Animal House, and that was like a 40. 70?
Oh, 86.
86. Wow. 86.99.
So you got 7 out of 10, which is pretty good. 7 out of 10 is pretty good. Not bad. All right, so we'll call it a night because I'm exhausted. So back tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern time.
We'll be here.
Christina Pedia said, I thought he died. Oh, that was Kirk Douglas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's who I got. That's who I got it mixed up with. Kirk Douglas.
Yes. Yeah. No. 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 I would never have mixed Donald Sutherland up with Kirk Douglas.
No, not Donald Sutherland. What's his name? The other one.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Neither. I definitely would not have mixed the two of them. All right, but that's me because I've got my nose in anything that was done before 1960 anyway. So we'll see everybody tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time. Robert Russo, thank you for hitting Super Chat tonight. Joe and I appreciate that greatly. So everybody be safe, and we will see you tomorrow. Nighty night.
Night and night. My.